And we're back. This is Hook and Ladder, week 13. I actually got it right this time. We are week 13. We got 1 week left in the regular season. That'll be week 14. And then we still got a bunch of football left to play.
A lot of football. I mean, I think almost the entire month of December is going to be championship games, playoff games, bowl games. I mean, there's a lot of football left. Don't get sad. I'm guilty of that, kind of getting sad. Like about 3 or 4 weeks ago, like, man, we only got like 4 or 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 games left to go in the season. Mm-hmm. I get kind of bummed out. Then I realize, we got an entire month of December. Some of the most fun football happens in that month.
That's right. So let's get started. Friday night, Florida State took on NC State, and NC State took it to Florida State 21-11.
Florida State is not good. I don't know how they beat Alabama, because Castellanos is not a good quarterback. Now, I've watched a lot of Florida State games this year, mm-hmm. just for whatever reason. They've been on. Friday night games before. You and I went somewhere. Was it going to the Alabama game? When we talked to that guy at the gas station?
Yeah.
So that was another Friday night game. They were playing, at Virginia. Mm-hmm. So I watched a lot of Florida State this year, and I've mentioned it before on this channel. Castellanos is one of the, he's a dual threat quarterback, but the guy gets in the pocket and he's, can't find a guy, goes to scramble. And so many times I'm like, dude, go right, go left, whatever. There's open, and he just doesn't do it. Mm-hmm. He ends up going and, maybe 1 or 2 yard gain or no gain or sometimes a tackle behind the line. I'm like, where are you going, dude? Like, to me, when I'm watching him last year at Boston College, he was a better runner than this year. Yeah. This year, I feel he's a better thrower. I mean, it helps to have guys like Deuce Robinson, the ACC's leading wide receiver on your team. Guys, elite wideout talent, but Castellanos just isn't good. Mm-hmm. And it's not just him, although I do feel that at times I've watched them, they've ran the ball pretty well. That Chroma guy is pretty darn good. Their defense at times is okay, but I was really surprised Virginia was able to just run all over them. This game, 21-11, that's scores. It was actually closer than that, but they kept having those stupid punt issues. Muffin the punt, the one before that, hit the guy in the helmet. Peter hits the guy in the helmet, and NC State recovers it. And it's like they just can't get out of their own way. They had plenty of opportunities to go in, score, tie the game, and they just kept muffin punts. But as we were talking before we started here, I'm surprised Norvell has a job, but as you said, not a good year right now to be firing a coach. There's so many teams and schools have already done it. Now, I feel if Florida State were to do it, they'd instantly be up there.
Top 5 programs.
Top 3, yeah. I mean, I would say, obviously, LSU, Penn State, Florida, and Florida State, if it were to happen, would be the 4 best there were. Yeah. To me, I feel with the players in the state of Florida, the NIL that they were spending on guys. I mean, let's not forget, they always were able to pay guys in the portal. Mm-hmm. They stole Chroma from Georgia. They handed that dude a bag. There was a wideout they got 2 years ago that bailed. They gave that guy a huge bag. It's legal now, so it's okay. Yeah. But I would say that they're ahead of everybody but Florida and LSU in terms of best jobs.
Penn State.
I don't think Penn State's that great of a job. I really don't. I don't really, unless something crazy changes, the boosters decide to really up the ante. Mm-hmm. I don't see them being anything more maybe like a top 10 to 15 program.
Yeah. Well, let's move right along to Saturday's matchups. We're having some technical difficulties, so we're using the phone. Let's talk about Ohio State beat Rutgers 42-9. You seen this one?
I watched a couple of plays. I mean, I try to watch Ohio State when they're playing somebody noteworthy, and I start remembering they're probably not gonna. Mm-hmm. So I just watch them anyway. And they're Julian Sands completed like 80% of his friggin' passes, and they were talking about him and the Heisman the other day, and I'm like, well, helps them to have guys Jeremiah Smith and Cornell Tate. There are other players that I think are doing maybe not the stats and the gaudy completion percentage numbers, but they're doing similar with less talent. And I'm not trying to take anything away with Julian Sands or Ohio State Buckeyes, but big test. I wouldn't call it a big test. I think they're going to smoke Michigan, but they're going to play a team that's closer to them on talent-wise than the teams they've been playing all season long so far. Yeah. And then, of course, the week after, I still feel that talent-wise, Michigan's got more blue chip talent than Indiana does. Indiana's just a better football team all around. So they'll have 2 weeks in a row where they're going to play somebody with a pulse.
That's right. So we'll see. Georgia knocked off Charlotte 35-3. Wasn't really a game at all. Just everybody got into play.
I watched a little bit of this game as well. It kind of workmanlike. These are the games, and I think Kirby's funny to say this, but these are always the games he wants to get guys in. He's like, we're going to put our backups in. We're going to run our offense. And then they get up and they put the backups in. They don't run the offense. They just hand off and kill the clock. Get out of there with a win. Get out of there injury-free. Move on to the next game. Right. I get it. If I'm a Georgia fan, I would have liked to have seen some other players get in there. Some of the freshmen, some of the sophomores that if somebody, God forbid, was to get hurt, they might need to step up. Right. It didn't really happen. A lot of the freshman wideouts got in, but they weren't really getting. There wasn't a lot of throwing when the second, third string really came in. The true freshman running back went for 3 touchdowns, so good for him. Frazier scored a couple, I think, but the backup running backs hurt, so they had to go farther down the depth chart on the running back. But, workmanlike. They won. It was never a doubt. Defense, I thought, played well, given who they were going against. But I would have liked to have seen more players get involved. I feel when you watch these games and there's other teams, younger guys get involved a little bit more.
Yeah, I agree. Oklahoma knocked off Missouri 17-6. Looks like what's his name? Missouri's quarterback got back in the game after
Bo Pribula. One of the guys I really enjoyed watching early in the season, and that's Missouri's motto the last couple of years. Early in the season, because early in the season they look good. Yep. They're a top 12 team early in the season. They might drop a game, but they'll be like 6-1, 7-2, getting late in the year, and then you just drop a bunch. And that's the same thing happened this year. They're 7-4 right now, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And they've lost to every good team they've played. They lost to Alabama, lost to Vanderbilt. I don't have their schedule from me. I know they lost a couple other decent teams, or they beat LSU, right? Yeah. And LSU's not good this year at all. They're always good early in the year. It's like if they spread out the good teams that they got to play, don't backload the schedule. But that's kind of who they've been under Drake. He's a good coach. They're a good, solid football team. They had a really nice run a few years ago. They ended up beating Ohio State in that. I forgot what bowl game it was, a New Year's bowl game. But they always disappoint towards the end of the year, and I'm wondering if that's the ceiling for them. Yeah. Drake's been linked to a couple of jobs. Don't really think he's a viable candidate, really. I mean, if I'm looking at anybody other than Auburn, I think you can get somebody better than him. Yeah. And it looks like Auburn was one of the teams, Penn State, but it looks like those two schools are focusing on other guys right now. I think Eli's a good coach. I like him. He's kind of a nerd. Some of the things he said is kind of dumb. But I think he's a good coach. I just kind of wonder, and after the last couple seasons has been very similar, what's their ceiling, I'll
move right along. Texas A&M knocked off Samford 48-0.
Didn't watch any of this game.
Yeah, they did what we expected.
This was that week. I had during the day, I had a big, hour and a half gap where I couldn't really watch anything. And then the same thing with the evening. I had more than an hour and a half gap where I couldn't really watch football. Watching this guy do a 5K, and my wife was doing her 5K as well, so I kind of had to look at my phone while I was trying to film my wife across the finish line. But
appreciate the moral sport.
Yeah, right. I didn't get to watch this game, and this is the week the SEC. Most of them play kind of cupcake, so I'm not really watching the SEC much this week.
Yeah. How about Miami knocked off Virginia Tech 34-17?
I did watch most of that game. Carson Beck looked real good. But they kept letting Virginia Tech kind of hang around. Virginia Tech has some pretty cool unis. Yeah. But I don't want to say hang around. They kind of let them score at the end there a couple of times, and it looked a little bit closer than it needed to be. They got the ball back, scored to go up a little bit. That was to get 34 on the board. Not too bad. I think right now, as it stands, unless there's some chaos next week, they might be on the outside looking in, because Notre Dame looked real good yesterday.
Yeah, they did. Well, speaking of Virginia Tech, I think James Franklin's kind of a done deal.
James Franklin. What day? Was it Tuesday he got named or something like that? And then they announced him I think Thursday at the basketball game. They played Metallica's Enter Sandman, which seeing that be played or hearing that played next to James Franklin kind of loses his luster a little bit. But hey, good for him. You know what? Right. He's not a bad coach. I kept seeing this on Twitter all year long. He's a program builder. He's not a program sustainer. I'm like, maybe we'll find out if that's true. If he can get Virginia Tech back, I know he's going to have a lot of help in that area of the state. They want that team playing well again. They have a rich tradition, so we'll see if it can happen. I think he'll do it.
That's right. Alabama knocked off Eastern Illinois 56-0.
That's expected.
How about Oregon USC?
That was a good game. I watched most of that game.
Oregon USC 27. Oregon's looking pretty good.
I watched most of that game. I kind of had a feeling it was going to go that way. I mean, obviously the spread in Vegas thought that it was going to go that way as well. But I was impressed with USC throughout the season being able to handle some of the more physical, don't want to say more talented teams, but some of the more physical teams in the Big Ten. Yeah. Being, Lincoln Riley's kind of soft. Let's call it what it is. But they've played well, and they fought this game. They really did fight. They had some special teams issues, much like Florida State did, only instead of turning it over, they were letting Oregon score on them.
That's right.
But they hung in, and then it kind of got away from them late. Mayava threw for 306 on them. They had a trick play that was excellently, I don't want to say excellently executed. It was a good play with a wide receiver. But, I mean, I'll give them credit. They fought. Oregon looked real good. They did, and they're in the playoffs. They're at
they're 10-1,
and they're looking good. They're looking strong. Big Ten's looking at 3 teams in.
Yeah, the only loss was to the number 2
team in the country.
So we'll see where we're at. Speaking of teams that look good this weekend, Notre Dame knocked off Syracuse 70-7. All of a sudden, Syracuse just feels like they've just kind of
they've been a punching bag this year. And they had a good season last year. Yeah. They had a couple guys. Jackson Meeks, the wide receiver transfer from Georgia. The kid was his name is. He came from Ohio State. His name is eluding me right now. I want to call him McCord, but I don't think that's his name.
Was it Howard? No. Yeah.
Was it McCord?
No, it was the Howard kid, wasn't it? They said we don't need you, and then what's his face?
And anyway, they got the kid out of Ohio State, and he was really good last year. One of the better quarterbacks in the country, late round draft pick in the NFL. So they had that good success last year in the portal. This year, it's been tough sledding for Syracuse, but I really like Fran Brown. I think he's a really good coach. A person in the college football media that I trust was like, if Fran Brown ever got a job at like a place like Auburn. Like the next step up. He's obviously not going to get Florida State or LSU, but if it's Auburn, then he would scare some people at Auburn.
Yeah.
But I like Fran Brown, but man, they're bad. And Notre Dame they're playing like some of the best football right now. Don't want to face them for sure. Just like last year, they're juggernaut running the football. Passing attack isn't what it was, but it wasn't that great last year either. They got a good defense. I really don't want to play them. I mean, look, they lost to Miami. But they've looked better the rest of the season than Miami has. Yeah. They looked more in control. The games they've won, they looked better doing it. Yeah. I still think they need to play in a conference championship, but they need to get in a conference because I don't think it's fair. But whatever. Yeah. They look good. They're in it.
Yeah. Vanderbilt knocked off Kentucky 45-17.
I thought Kentucky, don't want to say I thought they could win. I thought they could keep it close. And, man, they got boat raced. Kentucky's been playing better the second half of the season. And this game just got away from them. I mean, Pavia ran all over him. He threw all over him. Dude had, I think, over 500 yards of total offense. I mean, look at that. 484 in the air with 50 on the ground. Dude did the Heisman pose on a touchdown. I don't think he's going to win.
His mom's in the stands.
Yeah. I mean, that dude, if he gets his 9th year of eligibility next year, maybe they'll have another good season. There's something like 38 seniors on this team. I have this feeling Vanderbilt. I mean, they're probably going to flip Jared Curtis from Georgia this week. Yeah. Even if they do, I don't really see them doing a whole lot in the next couple of years. I mean, they'll have some NIL in the portal, but they're still kind of, I mean, We'll see what happens, but I just think they're going to come back to reality next year. So, but they're right. They got it. If they beat Tennessee next week, they're in the playoffs. No question about it. They're in the playoffs.
We'll see. Texas knocked off Arkansas 52-37.
Arch Manning went for like 480 million yards and 99 touchdowns. If you follow Longhorn Twitter, gotta love Arch Manning when he runs for touchdowns, throws for touchdowns against some really shitty teams, and he plays a really good team and he gets absolutely smoked.
It's a physicality issue.
I like Arch Manning. I don't want to talk bad about him, but I got a problem with him kind of beefing up and bowing up against these inferior competition when he scores touchdowns. But they needed to win this game. They got a big game against Texas A&M next week. I have this sneaking suspicion if they beat A&M next week, they're in the playoffs as the third 3-loss team. And somebody with 2 losses that probably deserves to get in is going to get out, be on the outside looking in because it's Texas.
I don't know. We'll see. Tulane knocked off Temple 37-13. So,
I didn't see any of that game. Tulane's got that championship game against, was it North Texas or is it James Madison? I don't remember.
I don't know.
They got a game next week, and the winner basically goes to the college football playoff, which, again, I have an issue with that. Take the top 12 teams. Don't just give the group of 5, best team in the group of 5 a bid because, you look at those losses. I think they had a 30-point loss in that on their season, so they're going to get in the playoffs over maybe a team like a Vanderbilt or another 10-2 team that kind of maybe deserves it.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
Like in Alabama, if something was to happen and Alabama ended up losing to Auburn, that would be two losses to unranked teams on the year. You never know.
Yeah, we'll see. We will see. Utah knocked off Kansas State 51-47. It's a bit of a shootout.
Yeah, they were down quite a bit. Yeah. They came back. Kansas State has had a bad season, and I feel bad for him because Avery Johnson's pretty good. Their best running back entered the portal like about 4 weeks ago. He's a really, really good, so he'll probably go someplace a little bit better than Kansas State. But they've had a bad season, and I'm surprised because I think Avery Johnson's a damn good quarterback. Yeah. But give credit to Utah.
That's right.
They come back. I think they were down 14 or something like that. They come back and win the game. They're having a great season, but they lost to BYU, who lost to Texas Tech, and I think BYU's probably gonna, if they get in, they're gonna get in ahead of them. We'll find out. I don't want to. There's a handful of teams I kind of know they're guaranteed in. Any like BYU, Utah, any of those teams, we gotta wait.
Yeah. Michigan knocked off Maryland 45-20.
Didn't see much of this game. I know it was close because I was looking at the scores because this was while we were at the race.
Yeah.
So I was sitting there eating, watching the scores on my phone. It was closer. And I was kind of shocked, but they pulled away late. Good for them. They got to get everybody healthy because I think even though they put up 45 last night, it was Maryland. They need everybody healthy and they need to be ready to go next week. I'm not really sold on Bryce Underwood just yet. He's only a true freshman, but look. We're 11 games into the season, and they paid the kid $10 million. We can't call him a freshman anymore. He basically played his freshman season. By now, he should be kind of taking that step, and I need to see that against Ohio State.
TCU knocked off Houston 17-14.
Didn't see any of that game.
Yeah. They got. How about the Tech getting knocked off of Pittsburgh?
Watch that game, and I want to say this because I've been waiting for this. So, Pat Narduzzi, I think I don't like him. In fact, I'm sure I don't like him. I think he's a clown. The comments last week when they were playing Notre Dame really bothered me. When they asked me if must-win games, absolutely not. It's not a conference game. I'm like, bro, you're a 2-loss team.
Yeah, gotta have it, man.
You beat Notre Dame, who's highly ranked.
Yeah,
and then you beat a 1-loss Georgia Tech, who's highly ranked. You're sitting pretty. Maybe things shake out. You're in the playoffs. Yeah. What does this? No, this game doesn't mean anything because it's not a conference game. That's the biggest load of horseshit I've ever seen. Yeah. I don't want my coach talking like that's a loser-ass mentality.
Right.
Just because it's a non-conference game. How do you think Kalen DeBoer would have looked if he said that Eastern Illinois didn't really matter if they win a conference game? That's the stupidest thing. So then the dude comes out of the halftime. They're up 28-14. Great first half. Comes out at halftime. And, Georgia Tech, a team that's really hard to beat. They're hard to just kill them.
Yeah.
It's hard to take them down. They're always going to fight hard and come back. He's like, oh, I love where our team is. They can't stop us. They can't stop us at all. Well, guess what, dipshit? They stopped you basically the entire second half except for one possession.
Yeah.
All right? You called the stupid fake punt that cost you because they went right down and scored on you. Made it a one-touchdown game again. And then you had your one score in the second half, a long run to kind of put the dagger in them. But your other score in the second half was a pick six. That was a bad play by Haynes King, who really doesn't make very many bad plays.
100-yard pick six.
Yep.
That was a gut punch.
It was a gut punch.
That game was over at that point right there.
Well, I would argue Tech was fighting back. And
They were.
I kind of feel they stopped Pitt there on that last touchdown. I was like, Tech's going to tie this game up. Yeah. I just could feel it coming. And everything was flipped. I'm like, this guy's an idiot. I don't like him. Something about him.
Yeah. Well, let's move on.
But I like Pitt, though. I mean, they're a good football team.
Yeah.
I enjoy watching them. They always kind of, other than last week in Notre Dame, they play hard. And the last couple of years, they've always knocked off somebody you didn't think they were going to knock off. So that's always fun. Yeah. Don't have anything against Pitt. I think Pat Nardini's kind of a clown.
Yeah. Tennessee knocked off Florida 31-11.
First time winning at the Swamp since I think 2003.
Yeah.
Good for them. Was it Joe? I can't pronounce his name. Aguilar.
Yeah.
Looked really good. Tennessee looked good.
Yeah.
Florida, my God, they just look bad. I am now fully on the camp that DJ Lagway has to leave. I don't care who they get at coach, unless it's maybe Lane Kiffin. But I think that dude just needs to go change the scenery. He's freak athletic talent, but there's something that's going on there that he's just bad at football. And if he wants to play in the NFL, he's got to get out of there. Forget the new coach.
He needs to change the scenery.
He just needs a complete change of scenery, 100% change of scenery. That dude's way too good of an athlete to be that bad. Yeah. They've got some playmakers on offense. They've got a good group of wide receivers. They got a decent tight end. They got a good running back. Ball is excellent. They had this another kid, Travion Webb, that was like a 5-star or high 4-star running back. I think he got hurt, but I don't know what's going on. They got a good defense, but I mean, look, they keep losing, and it just kind of snowballs. And so eventually, I think after the Georgia game, they just kind of gave up. I mean, you saw what happened to them against Kentucky, which they should have never lost to Kentucky. No. And this game is a rivalry game. They should have played harder, and they didn't. And I'm watching this game going, my God, I mean, this is one of the best rivalries, in my opinion, in college football. Yeah. It's a rivalry that really doesn't get talked about very much. This is a huge rivalry. CBS games back when Vern Lund was Gary Danielson calling the games, I mean, they would do this like 5-minute, I don't know what we call it, a little video, before the game of like talking to ex-players on both teams and how much they hated each other. Guys like Reggie Cobb and Peyton Manning for Tennessee, Javon Kearse, Danny Werfel for Florida. And it's just not that anymore. Yeah. I mean, it was kind of the last few years, even though neither team was like elite or anything like that. It was still a good rivalry. Golly, they look bad. But, hats off to Tennessee.
Illinois took the L to Wisconsin 27-10.
You cannot lose to Wisconsin right now. Yeah. That's two wins Wisconsin has had since saying they're going to keep Fickle, and the fans were like, oh my God, he sucks. Why are you going to keep him?
And now he's winning games.
And then they win 2 games in a row.
And they played well.
Yeah.
And so, it is what it is. BYU knocked off Cincinnati 26-14. BYU just stays alive.
BYU staying alive. Bear Bachmeyer, whatever. I like that dude. Yeah. I like that
Number
dude.
47.
He's a football player.
Yeah.
I don't think this dude's going to the NFL as a quarterback, but man, he's gonna have one of those careers that when he's done, guys at BYU don't leave early. Yeah. He's going to have one of those careers that when it's all said and done, he's going to be one of the best quarterbacks at BYU. And that's like the Detmers. Was it McMahon? Did McMahon play there?
Steve Young.
Steve Young. I mean, there's some really good quarterbacks at BYU. And he's going to go down as one of the best ones because he looks like a mini Tim Tebow to me.
Mm-hmm. He just plays hard. Loves the passion of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And the last top 25 matchup of last Saturday night, Arizona State knocked off Colorado 42-17.
There's a lot of smoke around Arizona State coach. I don't know if that's kind of legit or not. I heard this week. I don't think it's going to happen, but, big win for them. Looking at the screen right here, South Carolina got a win and Clemson got a win. They both played cupcakes, getting ready for that big matchup next week.
Yeah.
South Carolina, neither Clemson nor South Carolina have had a very good season.
Yeah.
Next week's their Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You can get that warm seat for both coaches. It's kind of warm. That thing cools right down with a win. It doesn't matter how bad that season was, and neither one of them, I think, are going to bowls. Well, maybe Clemson. I don't know. What's Clemson's record? Is it on your phone? I know South Carolina's not going to a bowl. They can't.
No.
But they showed they can play with anybody by what they did in the first half.
Clemson's 6-5. They're bowl eligible.
So they're bowl eligible. South Carolina can't become bowl eligible. They're done. But what they did against better athletes and better talent in the first half last week against A&M, I know that they can compete with Clemson, and I would actually pick South Carolina to beat Clemson next week.
It would not surprise me in the least.
It was Lenora Sellers, him and Harbor, and that defense is prime, ready to have a game.
Yeah.
They almost beat Alabama.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's talk about next week, week 14 of this college football schedule, the last regular season week of the season.
We just talked a little about Clemson, South Carolina, so then we go that one. That's always a fun game.
Transition into it. Well, guess what? Thursday night we got Navy and Memphis playing at 7:30. That's pretty nice game right there.
Nice game. When you're done having your Thanksgiving turkey,
take your little nap,
take your little siesta, then go get work. There's always good football on Thanksgiving, and if I'm not mistaken, there's one other game, right? Or is that the only one?
That's the top 20. But no, they get Tuesday night game. There's nothing on Wednesday night apparently. So
Wednesday night's like the biggest drinking night of the year in America. Why is there a game on?
Well, I know Thursday night that there are like 3 NFL games on Thursday or something like that.
Screw the NFL.
Friday, 3:30, we may possibly be there. Georgia at Georgia Tech, they're playing at
Mercedes-Benz, which is a great place to go. They got some of the best stadium food ever there.
That's right.
I'd like to go to this game. I really would. I really would like to go. It's not that far away. You get home at a decent hour.
Yeah. We'll see ticket prices. If they go down, I'll think about it. We got Iowa, Nebraska, 12 o'clock kick. Both teams bowl eligible. 7-4, 8-4 season waiting to happen. We got Utah against Kansas.
That's a night game?
That's a nooner. That's a nooner on Friday.
Oh, nooner Friday.
Yeah.
Oh, they're the Ole Miss.
Ole Miss and Mississippi State, noon kick. Rumor has it the decision's getting made by Lane after the game.
It's a noon kickoff on Friday?
Yep.
What's the night game Friday? That sucks. That's always a night game.
Texas A&M, Texas.
All right. That game's been on Thanksgiving night before, too. They would flip-flop. I remember a couple of Thanksgivings, the game where the Ole Miss guy scored the touchdown and then lifted his legs like he was peeing like a dog. And then they backed up the extra point. Homeboy missed the extra point, and Ole Miss lost. That was on Thanksgiving night.
Yeah. You got Boise State, Utah State. You got Indiana versus Purdue. Basketball matchup.
All right.
Yeah, well, no, it's number 2, Indiana.
Purdue, Jesus.
That's a 7:30.
Schedule.
Yeah.
Good Lord, Indiana's schedule. They got to play. They'll play a tough game in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's it.
Texas Tech's taking on West Virginia Saturday.
I haven't watched hardly any of West Virginia. I watched a handful of Texas Tech games. I think I've watched like one West Virginia game.
Interesting matchup, Miami against Pittsburgh.
That'll be a good game. Pittsburgh's got a good defense. That'll be a good game.
We got Houston against Baylor. Baylor's playing for bowl eligibility. They got to win or they don't go bowling. We got Louisville against Kentucky. Kentucky needs a win to get bowl eligible.
Louisville's played good at certain points of the season.
The season's just kind of just falling apart.
It's falling apart for them. Kentucky needs a win.
Yeah.
Kentucky's got to win this game. What's Kentucky's record?
5-6.
Got to win to become bowl eligible.
Got to win.
That's huge.
Yeah. Clemson, South Carolina.
I would have thought Kentucky would have been at least a 6-win team already. And they almost beat Texas. They should have beat Texas.
Yeah. Ohio State, Michigan, noon kick Saturday. Man, that's a lot of good games.
I know. It's always the noon kick with them. You know what? I've got to say that's the best rivalry in college football. It might not be my favorite. To me, it's always a little, because of the noon thing. I like the announcers, like how excited they get.
It's always crazy to me. The game's over by 4 o'clock.
Yeah. It's been a little, dare I say it, kind of boring to me at times. At times throughout, I've been watching college football a lot of years. Not the last 5 or 6. But it's been the excitement hasn't been there. It's kind of been, with a handful of games recently, it's been a lopsided. When Ohio State was winning all them games, kind of lopsided. Oh. I expect it to be lopsided again this weekend. I think Ohio State just beats every living dog shit out of them.
Well, here's another interesting game. LSU against Oklahoma. LSU's got some players. They're 7-4.
They've got players, but man, they suck. Did you see the score last week? They suck. They're so bad offensively. It's ridiculous. They're kind of like Florida. They're so bad offensively. A really good defense is just kind of checked out and like, fuck it, I'm done.
Vanderbilt, Tennessee.
That's the game. What time?
That's a 3:30 kick.
3:30 on Saturday. That's the game.
Yep.
That's basically it's a must-win for both teams. I don't think Tennessee is going to the playoffs.
No.
It's a must-win for Vandy to get to the playoffs. Yeah. It's a must-win for Tennessee to make sure Vandy doesn't get to the playoffs.
Now they're 9-2. They get that 10th win. There's a good chance they could get in.
I think they've got to have a lot more help. I think if Vandy wins that game. Yeah. Where they are in the rankings, it's going to be easy to put them in. I don't know. We'll talk about that another time. The committee's got some things to think about with some other teams.
There's a lot of teams that have justification or have an argument.
There's a lot of teams on the bubble. I mean, Miami. What if Miami wins?
Yeah.
And they're sitting there and Notre Dame's ahead of them, and Notre Dame lost to Miami.
Yeah.
And the committee is kind of clearly seeing that Miami is farther down the list. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. You got Oregon, Washington. You got a 10-1 Oregon. Yep. You got 8-3.
Yep. And you got Oklahoma. Yep. Saved their season by beating Alabama. Everybody thought Oklahoma was dead and gone.
Yeah, they're still standing.
Yep.
But they got to win this weekend. They win this weekend, they're in pretty good shape.
It's LSU, right?
LSU.
LSU can ruin a lot of people's hopes and dreams.
Florida State versus Florida. 4:30 kick.
I'm going to look at the camera and say this. I don't give two shits how bad either one of those teams are. That's a damn good rivalry. Yeah. It's not on par with Alabama, Auburn. It's not on par with Michigan, Ohio State. It's not on par with a lot of them. Mm-hmm. But that is still a good hated rivalry. I mean, they don't like each other legitimately. There's the last 4 or 5 years, there's been 2 fights before the game. I mean, they don't like each other.
Yeah.
God, so many years that the national championship was decided by this game. Yeah. Spurrier, Ballard, all those years. Yeah. That's good. I'll watch it.
They played some dogfights.
What time is it?
That's a 4:30 start.
I'll watch the heck out of that game because it'll be dark by second quarter.
Yeah. Let's see what you got here. Oh, Alabama against Auburn.
That's a night game.
It's a 7:30.
I saw that this morning. No longer is that the 3:30 marquee matchup. That's a night game. Oh man, them Auburn fans are gonna be drinking all night long. Jordan Hare is a weird place to play.
5-6 Auburn, they win their
bowl eligible, and they can ruin Alabama's season because that would be 2 losses to unranked teams.
Yeah, and that would just not kill them.
3-loss team, I think that would drop them below Texas.
And that would bounce them out of the SEC title game.
Yep, they would be out of the SEC title game. I mean, you talk about ruining a season. Just completely ruining the season.
It would destroy them. It would basically put them playing Gator ball.
That would be hilarious. I don't think it's going to happen. But I mean, look, what they Deuce Knight running quarterback yesterday with all the stuff he did. That's going to give him to think about. For years, Alabama's kryptonite was a running quarterback. I don't know. Could be crazy. That's going to be must-see TV. I can tell you that right now.
There's a lot of great football that's happening this weekend.
Next week, there are going to be some seasons ruined next week, I can tell.
There's going to be some people hired. Mm-hmm. There's going to be people losing their job. Mm-hmm. And it's so exciting. We'll do it again next Sunday. You guys have a good one.
See ya.
All right, bye.